Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is the part 3 of our API development series. In this part, we'll be working our return type. In the previous video, we were using dynamic as our return type, but in this tutorial, we'll be specific about our return type. So what do I mean? Because we are returning dynamic is a good type. However, it is prone to an error because it runs at runtime. Look at it. This represents an object whose operation will be resolved at runtime. With this case, it's only when we run our application we'll be able to know the type of error that is likely to return. But if we are specific about our return type, before we even run our code, we'll see the error. And another thing we'll be doing is to wrap our response objects, our response data, I beg your pardon, in an object. Look at how we are currently returning it. This is the actual response, right? Or actual data. However, in a standard way, we are meant to wrap it in another object. Look at this Postman collection example. This guy, this is the actual data, but it was wrapped in an object called error. We are going to replicate the same thing in our own response too. So let's quickly see that in action. So let me stop running the application. The first thing I'll do here is to add a folder called responses. Right click on solution, click on add, right click on solution, select add, new folder, give it a name, responses. So inside this folder, this is where I want to put all my responses that's related to this API, right? So right click on this folder, add a new class, give that class a name. In my own case, I will give it standard response or service response. Oh, this has been added. Now that we have our service response class being created, the next thing is to configure it. We are going to configure it to accept a generic type. And how do we do that? By adding this. See, this simply means that whatever class that will pass to it is going to accept it. This is a generic type, right? So now let's specify what we are returning. This is data. This is our T. Then we are also returning status code. Status code. We are also returning if it's successful or not. Success. And this is going to be a Boolean data type. By default is false. Then we're also returning a message. Okay. Now, having done that, so the next thing is to go to our service. I'll copy this, take to our service. Let's first start from get all record. Right. Change this to list because it's not a single record, it's a group of data that we are returning. beg your pardon, bring in your service response class. Our service response is here, close the angle bracket. Now look at it. This is expecting something, right? Don't forget that we specify it to accept a generic type. So what are we going to pass? Because what we are currently returning is this guy, list of employee. So what we are doing now is to grab this guy and put it here. Put it here. So the next thing is so now this is our service response. Our data objects will be available now. So just service response dot data. Copy. We also wrap this inside service response class. Now the data should be available now. That's data equals to this, right? So service response dot status code, because it's found a value equals to 200. And if you are the type that you are still learning, you don't know the status code, right? What you can also do is to use http status code dot OK. So by using HTTP status code, it will give you an opportunity to see the type of what you want to return, or the type of the status code you want to return back to your user. Look at it. We have ambiguous, bad gateway, bad request, conflict, continue, created. In this case, we want to use OK. So because the data type is an integer, so what you can do here is to cast it into an int data type, right? Now the next thing we want to do here is to return a message. It's a message. So yours maybe another thing, but in my own case, I'll say record successfully fetch or retrieve. Okay. Then service response dot success equals to true. Okay. Right. So then you return the service response. Right. Yeah. So if there's no record found, right? So let's also do this. The data equals to this service response dot success. So equals to false. Anyway, you might not need to. You might not necessarily need to call this because by default is false. So let's use that message equals to no record found. No record found. Service response the status code. This will be http status code dot no content. or whatever you choose to use. Okay, let's quickly test this. Oops, we have an error. There are build errors. Would you like to continue? No. Let's check what the error is. Oh, sorry, we forgot to change this from our interface, right? Just copy this guy, go to your interface class, then replace it with this, paste it, look at it, bring in our service response class, right? All right. So though it will work like this, but there's something supposed to do from the controller level. Since we have our service, I mean our status code for now, we can do if service if response dot status code equals to http status code dot okay, then return status code. Okay, response dot status code command the actual object, which is the response, and if not, just return status code dot status code, then pass the status code, command the actual object, which is response. With this, even if your status code is bad request or conflict or internet server error or bad gateway, this guy will return it. It's only return this guy if it is okay like this. Then if it is not okay, pass whatever that is the status code, pass it there. Right. That's what we just did now. Run it. Okay, let's try it out. Get record. Boom. We have it. Our response has been wrapped into a data object. Okay, guys, let's quickly do the same thing for other endpoints. Look at it. Record successfully retrieved, and status code is 200. Success is true, right? So let's quickly do that with the remaining endpoints. So go to your account service. So let's do the same thing with create accounts method. Then we have service response. Surface response. What are you returning? A return type here is employee. Grab this, put it in this class. So we now have service response to data. Oh, grab this guy as well. Set service response. So data should be available now. The data equals to this. Service response dot message. This message equals to this. Here we are checking if that record already exists. So in your own case, you may use whatever that is okay with you or that go with what you are developing. So here I'll say user or record already exists. User already exists. If user already exists, then return the service response. So then it's going to be the status code service dot status code. You may use bad request or conflict. Conflict simply means that same record is already in your database. So http status code at bad request. However, if it is not, then we want to return this guy. Look at it, is not running an error. The reason why it's running an error is to assign this to data. That's because of this surface response dot status code. The status to equals to http status code. That's you can use either OK or created, anyone that you feel like using, but both of them can use both of them. In this case, we are creating records, so let me use created. That is 201. So surface record response, beg the pardon, dot message equals to record successfully saved. Okay, okay. Surface response dot success equals to true. Forgot to change this guy to surface response dot equals to false. The success equals to false. Yes, we're unable to save the record. Yes. All right, let's test this again. Oh, correct. Let's test create accounts. No, beg your pardon, we made the same mistake again. So after doing this, we have to do the same thing on our interface as well. Okay, having done that, let's go to our controller. This. Just grab this, take it to where we have this guy. So she'll be able to run it now. Here you go. Let's create an account. Okay, let me use, I think we have this record there already with this email address, some for life gmail.com. Put a phone number. Oh, beg your pardon. This was to be, this is the email address. Don't forget it's the email address that we are validating. We have this, breakpoints, this. Okay, this is create a registration successful, right? We have the data that's been wrapped in, I mean, response has been wrapped inside data objects. Then the status code 201 successfully true, record successfully saved. Now let's use the same record again to see what will be the response. Look at it. This is user already exists. So guys, this is how you can be specific with your return type when developing your API. I think we have applied this same thing to get all record and create account. Do the same thing with get record by ID, update account, delete record, and all and all. Thank you guys. Please, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so so that you'll be the first person to be notified anytime I drop a new video. Thank you. See you in my next video.